Hi everybody, this is Captain Tom, Captain Tom's Sailing Adventures, and this is the beginning of episode number 6. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be rigging up what I've comically called Captain Tom's desalinator. And what it is actually, guys, it has nothing to do with saltwater desalination. It's basically a polyethylene sheet with a drain which goes to a hose which will go to your water catchment or to your water tank on your boat. And on my boat, which is a Cherubini 137, it has actually 2 water tank apertures in the deck. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting it up so we can tie the thing between the shrouds and the backstays on the boat and run the hose over to either side so we can fill up the tanks. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. This entire project only cost me, the polyethylene was a total of $15, and I got the funnel kit at Dollar General, I think, for $3. And I'll show you how we're going to do it. We're also going to be using a sailor's palm and a big sail needle to make this happen. So sit back, kick back, and let's see if we can't figure out a way to catch some rainwater like we did here at my place in Lampasas. As we are also going along, we're still waiting on the Brazos River. And for you folks out there that are in YouTube land that have been following me so far, we're going to be heading back to the beach here pretty soon to get the boat to Freeport so we can haul her out. This is slowing us down a lot. Today is Memorial Day. Also, guys, let's give a shout out to the Armed Services of the United States. And I especially give a shout out to my brothers that went to Vietnam. I was in the draft lottery when I was 19 years old to go to Vietnam, and one of my best buddies ended up getting a really low number, enlisted in the Navy, and he went to Vietnam and served on a oiler in the Vietnam War. And he's gone now. He and I sailed to the Bahamas one time. That's another adventure, and you'll hear about Bubba as we go along. So sit back, relax. Here comes episode number 6. Glad you're here. Talk to you soon. Bye. Yeah, hi everybody. I'm back again. What we have here is HDX plastic sheeting. This is 3.5 mil. I mean, it's not real thick plastic, but it was relatively inexpensive. I could have got 6 mil, which was a little bit more thick than this. But it was like, I think for this right here is a 10 foot by 20 foot, 25 foot roll. I got this for like 15 bucks. And I think the next step up was like closer to 30 for just a little bit heavier material. And I think this will suffice more than adequately as we build this. So here it is. I got this down at Home Depot in Killeen, Texas. So here's this item right here. The funnel kit I've got a couple of, this is what we really needed right here. We wanted a couple of funnels that would fit inside of each other like that. So, because what we're going to be doing, guys, is when we cut our sheet out and rig up our hard points to tie to, in the very middle of the sheet, we're going to be making a hole and kind of stretching the plastic a little bit to stick the big funnel in to the outside area, and then on the inside area of the sheet, we're going to get the small funnel. We're going to put them together, and what we're going to do is we decided to change the design a little bit. I'm not going to be using a sailor's palm, as it turns out. I'm going to be using this right here, an old style soldering iron. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making some holes in the polyethylene sheeting and the funnels here to lash them in place. And some of you guys out there are going to ask, well, won't that leak a little bit? Well, think about it this way, man. I mean, you're out in a thunderstorm or out in a rainstorm, 35 miles off of Tortola. And I mean, like, you're already out there and your oil's getting soaking wet, man. And you also are going to be putting a hose into your deck aperture, into your deck drain for your water tank. So, there's going to be some spillage here and there, man. No big deal. The beauty of this is the simplicity of it. And so we got a soldering iron, funnels, plastic sheeting, and then I'm going to use some 100-pound test, probably heavy-duty sewing thread to do the next step. And we're going to be getting down on the floor here in a minute. I'm probably going to have Miss Linda shoot me cutting the poly sheet in half when we get to that part of it here in just a minute. So hold on, keep on trucking, man. Here comes Captain Tom's CTSA desalinator. Hey, all right, bye. Okay, I'm back, and what we're going to be doing in this next vignette here on episode number 6 is we're going to be taking our funnels here and preparing them to be usable inside of the, I'm going to call it Captain Tom's desalinator. Let's call it that, man. It has nothing to do with desalination, but what it does is it will give you an option on either spending $1 a gallon or more buying the water in a Bahamian marina, or trying to take a ton of it, in small bottles, or give you a chance to catch it from a rainstorm. So what we're going to do is we've got a soldering iron right here. Here's a soldering iron, and it's pretty hot now. As you can see, it's red and on. And I'm going to get the funnels here, and I'm going to start trimming them up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the ears off of it right here with a good sharp pair of scissors. So there's that one there. And here's this one here. So we got a couple of really inexpensive funnels right here. And this funnel here is going to be on the top side of the sheet, fitting into this one here like this. And how are we going to hold them? Well, the way we're going to do it is we're going to lash it. And to do that, we're going to burn some holes in the two funnels so that they'll snug up next to each other. As you guys can see, when they're apart, they look kind of like this. And we're going to get them, and they actually fit together pretty snugly like so. So the next step is we're going to start by beginning a hole here. And there's one there. And there's one right there. This goes through both of them. As y'all can see, I made 2 holes there. I'm going to come about 1/3 of the way around the funnel here. We'll do our next set. One there. And one there. And so now you can see we have 2 sets of funnel holes, and then we'll come around to the final 1/3 for our lashings that we're going to be making. So here it is right about here and here. Okay. Miss Linda's gone to the dentist, and she's going to come back at her house. It's going to stink like burning plastic. And she's going to freak, man. She's going to think I've been she's going to be thinking I've been doing something weird, man. Anyway, who knows? So here they are. You can see them. These are the 2 funnels with the lashing hole set up in them. And again, what we're going to be doing, everybody, is we're going to be putting this funnel inside of this one here. And then we're going to be lashing them into the center of the plastic sheet. So that's this step. We'll be starting the next step, which is actually cutting the polyethylene in just a minute. Okay. Okay, so here we are back again as we consider this next shot. We've got some other material here. We've got the 3.5 mil plastic sheeting, a tape measure, 4 pebbles, and some 200-pound test breaking strength line. So this is what we need for the next step. And I'm going to get Miss Linda to come in here and film me cutting the plastic sheet to the correct length. We're going to go with about 12 feet for the catchment. So here we go. Okay, everybody, so Miss Linda has got the camera, and I'm down here with the HDX sheeting now. So we're going to go ahead and open that up and roll that out. Nice thing about polyethylene is when they give it to you all folded up like this, so it makes it really easy to measure. And let's see, these squares, if I remember correctly, yeah, they're right at about a foot. And I know this is 25 feet long, so I'm gonna go 25 feet. So here we go. Or not 25, I'm gonna go 12. 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's 12 down there. So I'm going to pull this on down right here. That was actually pretty easy. I was thinking I was going to have to mark it. So we're going to get a really sharp pair of scissors here to cut the polyethylene. Should work like butter. Yes, it does. Like so. And so this roll right here will be for a second water catchment tarp that I'm going to rig up. And what I'm thinking about doing, everybody, for you guys out there that are into sailing and everything out there in YouTube land, I'm thinking about making a second one, and then in a couple of 3 or 4 weeks, somebody that's interested in this and might have a sailboat, if you'll send us a notice or a like or something like that saying, hey, Captain Tom, I sure would like to have that second catchment. We'll make it for you, and I'll put on it Captain Tom's Desalinator, which is a joke, of course. So, there we are. What we're going to do now is, we've got some rope here. I bought this at, what was it, Linda?
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, yeah. Bought this at Dollar Tree. This is 40 feet of 200-pound test polypropylene rope. And for you people out there that are not very sailorly yet, I'm 6'3", and my reach is right about 6'3". So there's 6 feet, or a fathom. This is where the fathom comes from. There's 6 feet. And then half again of that would be this right here. That's about 9. Let's call this 10 feet right here. So we're going to cut this right here. We're going to make 4 of them. These are going to be the 4 main tie-up lanyards. And what we're going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to stop the shot, and we're going to go ahead and go for the next part. Okay, and a lot of you people, this is of course polypropylene line here. The good thing about it is it's cheap. I think that roll there costs $1.25, and we're going to melt it on the ends so that it won't unravel. So, getting that going like that. Let's get the other, we got 4 pieces now. These are for our 4 main rolls, or our 4 corners of our catchment tarp. And these are going to be lashed in place with a new knot for you guys, which is going to be a slip knot, but there's going to be an interesting way that we tie it so it won't slip off. When I was a kid, I was 14 years old in the Boy Scouts. I have one little claim to fame. We had a camporee over by Hearn, Texas, close to where I grew up, and I had a patrol. My patrol is called the Beaver Patrol. How about that? Anyway, we had the Beaver Patrol, and out of 1,600 possible points for everything we did, from signaling, fire starting, cooking, everything, I got 1,600 out of 1,600 points. I had a perfect score, and out of 100 patrols, my patrol was the #1 in the entire camporee. This is when I was in the 8th grade. So I'm pretty proud of that still. It's been a long time since then, but a lot of the controversy around the scouting movement is real sad to me. I got a tremendous amount out of it, and I learned how to tie knots there. And as y'all recall from the earlier episodes, tying knots is pretty important. What we're going to do now is we're going to tie a new knot right there. And Miss Linda, you got me on camera? You see it okay? And she's giving me a thumbs up. What we're going to do is we're going to tie a figure of 8 knot, and this knot goes like this. We're going to go like this, make a loop. We're going to go around it right here, come back through, and then stick it like that. And see how, guys, that looks like a figure 8. Can y'all see that? I'm sure you can. Miss Linda, we got a good shot of that? She's giving me thumbs up. Okay, so there's a figure 8 knot right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie a slip knot. And what we're going to do is by tying it this way, you put one loop over the other, making 2 loops like this. We're going to go up inside, and then you see what we have here. We've got a loop with a knot on it. And what I've done by tying the figure 8 knot for this slip knot, that keeps this end from slipping out. So now we have a loop which can be cinched up. You'll see how that works really lovely. But there's a way we're going to tie it onto the catchment. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be wrapping it around the stone. That way when it gets cinched up, it can't pull off this way. If we do it like so, if we just cinch it up like this and pull it tight, believe it or not, that will eventually start coming loose, and then what will happen is this will slip off. So we've got our first knot tied there, and then I'm going to demo this right here on this corner. When I was in the Scouts also at that camporee, back in, gosh, I don't know when it was, in the late 60s. That's a long time ago, man. They had a new thing that came out in Boys Life, which was the Scouting magazine. And it was about something called polytarp. And all you had to do was run a line like this between 2 trees and pull polyethylene over it like this to make a giant pup tent. And then what you do is you get a shovel and you just bury the ends of it. And if there's a lot of wind, you can stake it down. And what they said, the way to tie it, if you want to tie it to stakes, is you got a pebble like this right here. This came out from our backyard. And what you did is this is the corner. Can you see that okay, Lynn? This is the corner of the catchment here. What we're going to do, and this looks kind of ragged, but it's really stout. You stick this up inside of the corner right here and give yourself plenty of end. Give yourself plenty of end right here. And then we're going to wrap it around the pebble, like so. And you can see where it is right there. Then we get our slip knot with a figure 8, and we put it on right here onto the pebble. We're going to go that extra turn right there, and now we're going to cinch it up. And believe it or not, guys, this 3.5 mil plastic is actually pretty stout. And it probably will not fail, even with a lot of water on it. You can see it right here. Got a good shot of it here, Linda. And she's giving me thumbs up, so that means yes. So there it is right there. That's number 1. And I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to put the other 4 on, and then we're going to go to the funnel aspect of the Captain Tom's desalinator. All right. Okay, we just started out with 4 tie-up rocks, and what I've done is I've gone and cut 4 more 10 or 11 foot lanyards to tie into the middle part of each one of the rocks that I have now. And I said a minute ago I'd demonstrate a square knot. So a square knot is one of the easiest knots ever devised. You just go right over left, left over right. So you start out like this, you go like so, and you always look, you want to make sure that that equals the other one coming out on top. And notice how this thing actually looks square. Right here like this. This is a square knot, okay? So basically, again, what you do is you go right over left, and then left over right, and you can see what it looks like. It looks like this. Now, what most people tie is they tie a granny, and if you go left over left and then left over left, in fact, it's hard for me to tie a granny because I've been tying square knots for so long. All right, this is a classic granny right here. If your square knot looks like this isn't correct, guys. This is a granny, and they slip, okay? So a square knot, right over left, and then left over right. There it is, 3 times that I demoed it for you, okay? And that's how we tied the funnel in. We just used fishing cord, 100-pound test fishing cord down there after we perforated the holes. So we're going to use these lanyards right here to tie in 4 more little pebbles into our Captain Thomas desalinator, and that will make it work even better. We were losing some over the sides here, and also when you're on the boat, I've got movable, adjustable backstays on my my main mast. On my mast, I have a cutter rig, and you can actually move the backstays around. So like if you're out there in a squall, or you could tie to the bimini or to the boom. I mean, really, just about anything that, you know, can support a little bit of weight. I doubt seriously if you get more than 5 or 6 pounds of water onto the tarp at any one time, maybe 10. So you're not going to have to worry about any gear failures there or hurting your boat. So let's go ahead and get these next ones in, and then we'll shoot some more. Okay, we're back with the camera, and as you guys can see, we've spread the water catchment, the Captain Tom desalinator, out. We got our corner stones tied in, as I was demonstrating in the other video. And what I've done to find the more or less center of the tarp is I've just brought the lanyards in from corner to corner, and that gives me the more or less center of it. And I've also discovered that the best way to set the funnels is to actually get them in place in the middle and then do the holes with the soldering iron. So I'm going to do that here in my next shot. Okay, so here it is, guys. What I did is I made some additional, I burned a couple of holes into the funnels here. It's hard to line them up unless you got them right next to each other with the polyethylene, and it worked out really well though. The 2 funnels are securely tied in, and you can see that we have the lanyards out here. What we're going to do next is we're going to take it outside, and I haven't put a piece of hose on the bottom because if you make this at home, most of the deck drains are either inch or inch and a quarter, and so you'll have to find a piece of I think actually the best thing to do would probably be washing machine vinyl hose, the really thin wall stuff, because it's really lightweight and flexible, and it's cheap too. It's really cheap. Water hose tends to have leave kind of an aftertaste, and I think with this polyethylene sheet here, once it's rigged so that it'll catch rainwater, I'm going to use a hose to pretend it is rain outside here in just a minute. We're going to go ahead and rig it all up, but I think you can wash the residue taste off of the polyethylene pretty quickly. And the washing machine hose is really thin-walled PVC with little bendable parts in it, and you can use this just a standard hose clamp to clamp it onto the end of the funnels. Anyway, this demo's what we did here, and like I say, the holes are simple to make. You can see them down there, and you saw I burned them with the soldering iron, and I just used standard square knots. I can demo a square knot outside. I'll do that in the next section of this vignette here to show you a square knot to tie your funnels in with. But here it is, and you don't even have to use any silicone or anything like that, because while there will be a little bit of leakage, the vast majority of it will go straight through the hole and then down the hose into your water tanks on your boat, or you could even use like a 5-gallon water can right there up on deck. So we'll be going outside next to do the next shot. Okay, as you can see, the spigot is right down there. It's kind of in the very middle of the tarp here. We have a bird bath under this here, so Linda's going to shoot while I create a little artificial rain here. Where we're going to be looking, you can see the funnel right here. Here's the funnel. Now I'm going to create a little rain over here with my pet cat. Look out, Kit Kat. You don't want this, I promise. Let's create a rain shower. Now if you look down there at the funnel, you can see it's going right down to the truck. It's also coming off the side there a little bit too. So, there we go. Obviously where you tie the lanyards is important, but now we're getting some really good flow. Can you see it, Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Look at that, man. Definitely going through the funnel there. And I think if we, yeah, look at that. You really got some great flow now. Got a lot of great flow there, Linda?
Yes.
Okay, super. Yeah, look at that, man. It's leaking a little bit, but man, it works. Of course, we're losing a little bit off the sides too. If I had this thing tied up between the shrouds on the boat, it would probably work a little bit better. But I'm also going to recommend, now that we've done this and I've gotten this catchment, I'm going to recommend tying some more rocks into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 4 more rocks, and we're going to augment it a little bit and make it even better than it is now. So let's go ahead and cut. Okay. So now we have 8 lanyards now. We're going to create some rain, and here's the rain. A little off center here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it up a little bit, and here it goes. You've got to get the lines exactly the way you want them. But while this is not the most efficient rig in the world, you can't beat what it's doing right here. I mean, it's catching all that rain and it's going somewhere, which is hopefully down into the tank on your boat. What I'm doing is I'm just adjusting one of the lanyards up a little bit to make it drain a little bit better. This was a flat sheet of polyethylene, so it naturally doesn't have any natural camber into it. I suppose you probably could stretch it a little bit. That might help a little bit to make it work a little better. But the bottom line is this catchment catches rainwater, man. And we got the way we have it rigged up here with all the lines going around. We have 8 hard points now rigged up to the sheet. And again, I mean, if you catch 100 gallons of water in the Bahamas, you just saved $100. So I will recap what we've done here in the next shot. Okay, in the final iteration of how we're going to do this thing, I've got some silicone sealant here, and I'm going to put it right along the edge of the junction between the top funnel and the bottom funnel. This will cut down on the leaks a little bit. I noticed it was leaking pretty well a little while ago. And so we're going on around. Interestingly enough, this bottle of silicone sealant, while Miss Linda and I were going for a walk this morning, this was in a in a dumpster down at the park. There was a box that somebody had thrown in there, and I've always been a person that's always looked at stuff like that. And I found this bottle of silicone right here that was still perfectly good. And I picked it up out of there, and a tube like that at Walmart costs about $6. So there's another $6. And now I'm gonna, let's see if I can't smooth that a little bit here. Right here, here we go. Yeah. Gonna smooth this up a little bit. Get it in there. That should cut down on the leaks a little bit. And also, when I was working on this thing, some of y'all might be able to see this. I made a hole in the tarp with the soldering iron. So don't do that. It's not critically important, and it can be easily patched with a little sliver of silicone or a sliver of plastic and some silicone. But there it is right there. And also, what we've done is we've gotten We've gotten a hose. Yeah, there it is. Now you can see it. This is an old chunk of garden hose, and it slipped really beautifully over the end of that nozzle on the funnel. So that really, and obviously you could use one that was much longer than that. I just cut a small piece right there to see if it would work, and it does. So that's it, man. I mean, this thing's caulked now. We're gonna let that silicone seal and harden up. That'll take an hour or two, and then we'll test it again. Okay, so we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we are finally back. We have finished episode number 6 here at Captain Tom's Sailing Adventures, the Captain Tom's Desalinator Adventure episode. And we are really hoping that you guys out there in YouTube land have enjoyed this. And we hope that some of y'all out there will build a desalinator, one of Captain Tom's desalinators, which is really just, of course, like as you well know, this is just a polyethylene sheet. Maybe come up with some better ideas for the funnel part and what kind of hose to use. What we want to do is we want to make stuff like this and give it to the world and let people enjoy working on things. And of course, we are still waiting on the Brazos River down in Matagorda, Texas, but we finally think that the weather is beginning to moderate a little bit. We have got some really hot sunny weather now. It's now the 7th of June. So we've been back, gosh, man, something like 2 weeks. So we're waiting on to get back to Matagorda so we can jury rig the boat to get it up to the Brazos River. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my outboard to push the boat to the Brazos, and then use the diesel engine and the outboard at the same time to get across the Brazos. It's only about 5 minutes worth of running, and then get on down to Oyster Creek to the shipyard where I'm going to haul out. So that's what's going on. Remember also, guys, to subscribe to this YouTube channel and all YouTube channels for people that are out there promoting sailing. It helps everybody down there in the YouTube land understand what's going on, and it gives validity to us people that are trying to break into this form of media. And we hope you enjoyed episode number 6. Hey, it's Captain Tom. Bye-bye.